This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by touringplans.com. And hey, there's things always changing in Walt Disney World. Lots of new attractions coming online, things going offline. Whatever the changes are, though, it can be kind of an issue to navigate the parks and have the perfect touring plan. But you know what? Touringplans.com is there for you. They've got the perfect plan for you, regardless of when you're going, what's going on in the parks. They've got the touring plans for you. Go check them out right now at touringplans.com.
Bringing the world to your world, this is Walt Disney World Today. Here are Mike Scopa, Len Testa, Mike Newell, and your host, Matt Hochberg.
It's Monday, February 14th, 2011, and this is episode 838 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of The Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, it's Valentine's Day. Where are you taking me, big boy?
Taking you Backlot Express, Matt.
Wow, you always bring me to the best places, Len.
That's awesome.
Nothing but quality frozen patty burger for me.
Falafel.
That was good eating. Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. And Mike, where are you taking your wife today on Valentine's Day?
I'm sure it's going to be somewhere cold and snowy because that's all that's around here.
Nice. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the navigating and touring the Magic Kingdom now that Fantasyland, I keep saying that, Toontown has closed for the Fantasyland
is closing?
expansion.
Oh, that would be terrible.
What? What, man? What?
I'd say we boycott.
All right.
Toontown is closed last week, right, Len?
Yep. It closed on, the Friday?
Friday, yeah.
Yeah.
Friday,
and
yes.
it's
Black
closed
Friday.
And so Toontown is closed now, so this kind of affects park touring, as you might imagine, because obviously on two counts. One, if you're looking just to do everything and you're looking to avoid those crowds, or two, what about if you've got little kids? You want to be able to still entertain them. So today we're going to talk about how Toontown's closure affects touring the Magic Kingdom. And Len, where would you like to start this evening?
I'd like to start actually with the updated Magic Kingdom touring plan for parents with small children. So
no.
Good.
I was just saying.
No. I believe that children are our future, Matt.
So children are our greatest natural resource, or so I've read in a queue line somewhere.
Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. All right.
Teach children well. That's the only line I know from that song.
So the interesting thing about the old touring plan was that Toontown was featured in the either in the late morning after you got Fantasyland out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 2-day plan, or in the early afternoon on the 1-day plan. And the reason for that was if it was a 2-day plan, you were doing Tomorrowland until Toontown opened at 10 a.m. and then you would rush in and get character autographs, because if you'll remember, you wanted to get there at 10 o'clock because lines for the princesses and the fairies would often be an hour, even on just moderately busy days. So by getting there at 10 o'clock, you avoided the long line that you would see at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, and then that would stay throughout the day.
Okay, so go ahead.
Getting there early was important. The alternative was, if you're on a 1-day plan, waiting until the afternoon, either around lunchtime or right before or right after the afternoon parade, when presumably some percentage of family members would be drawn towards either restaurants or towards Main Street. So with crowds diminished in Toontown, you had a better chance of getting low lines for characters. That was the two strategies. Now, the interesting thing here is with the closure of Toontown, characters are being dispersed all around Walt Disney World. So Mickey and Minnie are moving to Tomorrowland for a meet and greet, and the princesses are moving to Adventureland in the Adventureland veranda to meet. The fairies are, of course, going to the studios to Epcot with the exception of Tink.
No, they're all going to Epcot.
Oh, they're all going to Epcot? I thought Tink was going to...
They did, and the Disney changed their mind, so now Tinkerbell will be joining them, at least for the time being. Perhaps things will change in the future, but for right now, they're all going to Epcot.
Goodness, they're all going to Epcot. So that makes it a little bit more challenging to get multiple character autographs. Before, it was possible to get a bevy of characters within one place in a relatively short amount of time. Now you're hiking it across the park to get character autographs. So we're going to go through the touring plan now, and we'll explain what the steps are.
Before we go through that one, with Toontown closing, where do you see what's the ramification, really, the overall grand scheme picture here? Are people going to be spending now more time in, say, Fantasyland, or is there some other consequence of Toontown closing that you see?
I don't think that people are going to be spending more time in Fantasyland until the expansion is done. I see people spending more time actually in the left side of the park. If you think about where Toontown was placed, it was the upper right corner of the Magic Kingdom.
Right.
So it kind of drew people over towards that part of Fantasyland, or that part of Tomorrowland. Although it was still pretty far away from the main attractions in Tomorrowland. I'm seeing people spending more time in the Liberty Square area. Forget about it, Bonnie. We're not going to be seeing Cinderella today. We're going to go hang out more with the presidents. Nothing says it's going to be in that area though, because from in that area you can go to obviously Fantasyland, you can cut through to Adventureland, or you can go to Frontierland. So the alternative is for people to be in Tomorrowland, but that's the opposite corner of the park than virtually every other set of attractions. There's really no anchor in the upper right-hand side of the park. Now, if you divide the park into 4 quadrants, there really are only like 4 attractions on that side of the park now.
I've always said the Magic Kingdom's lacking. It's no Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Well, what is, really, except for the studios itself.
True. All right, Len, where do we start with this new touring plan?
So this is the standard unofficial guide, one-day touring plan for parents with small children.
Ding.
As always, we tell you to get to the Magic Kingdom entrance, not the TTC, but to the entrance, somewhere between 50 and 70 minutes ahead of time. That gives you plenty of time to rent strollers ahead of time, or go to the bathroom, get your park maps, get your daily entertainment schedule, get past the turnstiles if you need to, and all the usual stuff.
Right.
Then once the park actually opens, first attraction is ride Dumbo the Flying Elephant in Fantasyland. And right after that, you want to ride Peter Pan's Flight. So the interesting thing about Peter Pan's Flight is that it builds lines faster than the next attraction, which is Winnie the Pooh. So we're not telling you to ride Dumbo we're not telling you to ride Peter Pan just because it's closest to Dumbo. We're telling you that because you will save more time than if you did the rides in the opposite order. How do I know this, Matt?
How do you know this, Len?
That's an excellent question. Thank you for asking. The reason I know this is that back in January, when we were testing out these new touring plans, simulating the closure of Toontown, we had a bunch of people do nothing but test this combination of Fantasyland attractions over and over.
To simulate the closure, did you have Henry standing in front of the entrance to Toontown, like blah blah, go away?
No, we just assumed that we weren't going there, so it all worked out okay.
Or that.
So Dumbo, Peter Pan, and then Winnie the Pooh. It's better than doing Dumbo, Pooh, and Pan. So there's a little bit of extra walking there because you've got to walk across Fantasyland Plaza, but you get to see a lot of construction equipment and burly construction men. So so there's an upside to that.
It is Valentine's Day.
It is. That's true. Then then there's It's a Small World. So the reason why we put It's a Small World in here is because we want the touring plan to work for both morning extra magic hour days and then regular days when the park opens at 9 o'clock to everyone. It's a Small World will not have a long line. It's a reasonably long ride. It's like 7-8 minutes.
Yeah.
Long. It's not so much time that you're going to be impacted by longer waits at other attractions, but sorry, it's 11 minutes. Sorry, no, it's not. Yeah, it is 11 minutes. Sorry.
It's longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's true. But it's something that you could do and still get through morning extra magic hours before the rest of the park opens. And even if it's a regular day, it doesn't take that much time out of your precious morning time. The next attraction after that is Haunted Mansion. So again, if you think about where you're going, you're sort of going counterclockwise around the park right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Broadly speaking, Fantasyland, Liberty Square. As you get through Haunted Mansion, there's not much of a wait, and it saves you from backtracking later on. Make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
After that is Jungle Cruise. Now, the interesting thing about Jungle Cruise is there's a shortcut to get there from Haunted Mansion. What you do is you walk towards Frontierland, and just before you get to the entrance to Country Bear Jamboree, you want to make a hard left and walk through the wooden walkway that connects Frontierland to Adventureland.
Yeah, it's also where the restrooms are on your left-hand side as you walk by them.
No, that's the different one. That's the other part of Adventureland. You want to walk farther down.
Oh.
That's the Liberty Square one, right? That's the...
No.
You're talking about the first one where the bathrooms are by Treehouse. I'm talking about the little walkway that's by the Enchanted Grove.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about. Where am I? What park?
It's yeah, exactly. So you want to do that. So if you cut through that little walkway, you keep the Magic Carpets of Aladdin on your left. You keep the Tiki Room on your right. You walk straight ahead. You'll hit the Jungle Cruise. Okay. Then after that, you want to do Pirates of the Caribbean. Now the reason why we put Pirates of the Caribbean in there for two reasons. One is it is still even 40 years after it was introduced, it's still a really popular ride. It does get more people through, so it is one of the highest capacity rides on this side of the park. It's also one of the highest capacity rides in the Magic Kingdom. So long lines typically don't develop this early in the morning, but you're headed towards Frontierland anyway, so now's a good time to get it out of the way. Plus, it gives you a chance to sit down for a little bit when you might have been walking or running around the park early in the morning. It's a good little checkpoint to make sure that everyone's rested. The after Pirates of the Caribbean, you're going to head over to Tom Sawyer Island. Matt, I know this is one of your favorite places. Woot! So taking the raft over to Tom Sawyer Island, we want you to spend 30 minutes there. We want you to run over the barrel bridges. We want you to run through the caves. We want you to explore the fort and all the other different parts of the island. You should also sit down and reminisce about the fact that Aunt Polly's Dockside Diner is no longer there.
Mm.
You know what we should do for one day for a reunion? If we could all smuggle in the parts to make a barbecue grill. We should have a barbecue on Tom Sawyer Island.
Whoever has to bring in the butane, good luck.
We could each bring in one charcoal briquette at a time.
It's my lucky brick.
Why this is odor eaters for my shoes. Yes, that's it. It's charcoal. Yeah. And then wouldn't it be fun? That'd be fun. We should have a barbecue on Tom Sawyer Island.
That'd be great. It would really be great. I can't wait to see the flotilla of Disney security heading our way when they spot smoke coming from the island.
I can just see the overhead from Channel 6 helicopter right
now. But then we can. But all we'd have to do though is really keep them away from the dock, right? There were two docks. We'd only have to defend two docks.
We'd have to dissipate the smoke. That's really the key. You have to come up with some sort of a system to make sure the smoke doesn't really rise above the tree line.
Put it in the caves.
Mommy, it's getting really dark in here. Let's keep going.
Exactly. All right. So assuming you make it back from Tom Sawyer Island and you're not arrested, then you want to get fast passes.
After your clam bake.
After your clam bake, exactly. You want to obtain fast passes for Splash Mountain. And then from there, actually, if the wait for Splash Mountain is less than 20 minutes, like it is sometimes during the slower parts of the year, you just want to ride Splash Mountain rather than getting fast passes for it. But once you're done with that, you want to take the train from Frontierland all the way around to Main Street, and you want to leave the park for a nice 3 or 4 hour break.
Well, you have an interesting touring plan so far, Len. But what about the families that are looking to meet characters? Because one of the big things about
it's coming up.
I spoke too soon. My apologies, sir.
So the thing that the touring plan is trying to balance out is the desire to ride rides versus the desire to meet characters. Now, the thing that we mentioned at the beginning is characters are dispersed throughout the park now. If you want to meet Mickey, you've got to go to Tomorrowland. If you want to meet princesses, you've got to go to Adventureland. Those are on opposite ends of the park. It's not like in Toontown where they were all in the same relatively small area. Granted, you had to wait in different lines, but you didn't spend much time crisscrossing the parks, and there weren't other distractions around you to do things. Here, it's different. So we're trying to put the characters later in the day because you don't want to spend your valuable morning time walking around. You want to be on rides. That's the trade-off: the walking around versus the being on rides. So that we actually have character greetings sometime in the.
Can I just jump in real quick, Len?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
I just want to say, if walking around, I say, ooh, that's gonna be real tough with the kids. If they're of stroller age or they're on that border, the cusp of like, are they too big for a stroller? And you're going to use this plane, it might actually be better to go with the stroller because then you just stick them in there and push them to the next to the next area, from step 1 to step 2 to step 3. Even if you are crisscrossing a lot, it's going to be a lot easier than dealing with a kid who halfway through the plans gets tired from crisscrossing.
Right. That is a good idea. The alternative too is you can put the kid in the stroller and then just leave them if it gets to be too much.
That's all right.
Just say, "Oh, I forgot my stroller," and keep walking. Right. Exactly.
I like it.
So I'll go through the rest of the touring plan pretty quickly. Because probably want to talk about the adults too. But so the next set of the attractions is once you come back from lunch are get fast passes for Buzz Lightyear if they're available. See Monsters Laugh Floor Comedy Club, and then you're going sort of clockwise through the park here. You want to see Swiss Family Treehouse and Jungle Cruise if you got fast passes for it earlier. Country Bear Jamboree. You want to eat dinner at Pecos Bills. You want to ride Splash Mountain using your fast passes. And then you want to start looking for characters. Characters will still be out. This is an early dinner, we think. Characters will still be out. You'll still have time to see them in Adventureland because you're already in Frontierland. You're relatively close to them. If you wanted to go to Tomorrowland to meet Mickey, you can do that as well. The last couple of attractions are Mickey's PhilharMagic and Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin using the fast passes you got earlier.
Nice.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks.
That sounds like I think it makes sense, especially for those with young families. So what about the adults there, Len?
So the adult plan is a little bit different in that they didn't include character autographs in Toontown. They merely had you touring Toontown. So since you don't have to do that anymore, it takes an entire step out of the touring plan. The other thing that we did though is we actually had a round trip on. We had a round trip on the Walt Disney World Railroad in the middle of the day. So the big change in the adult touring plan is in early afternoon you no longer go to Toontown. You continue on in Frontierland and Adventureland, and we've moved the round trip on the Walt Disney World Railroad to the evening. So it's after you finish Tomorrowland. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, cool. So that's that.
That's it.
That's the adults weren't doing much with Toontown in there anyway, but that's that. Yeah.
Okay. I guess what would be? I know it's just closed on Friday, Len, but what would be your observation with Toontown closed and a dedicated character meet and greet not going to be in the Magic Kingdom really that scope for quite a while? I mean, where do you see the biggest impact, do you think, with the closure of Toontown? What land do you think you're going to see the biggest impact with?
I think that side of Fantasyland isn't going to be as crowded as it was, so I don't expect the Mad Tea Party or Pooh to be as crowded. The interesting thing though is going to be this: characters. Remember, Disney pulls the characters from the park during parades and during fireworks, so you won't see Snow White out in the park if Snow White's in the parade. So you'll see the characters not available around the time that the parade begins. If that's in early evening, you'll have much more limited time to see certain characters during the day than you would otherwise if they were in Toontown.
Right.
So that's key because it means you can't wait until the end of the night to start getting character autographs. You really do have to do it either first thing in the morning when they're out, but they're generally not out first thing in the morning, so late morning, or you want to do it mid-afternoon, late afternoon, but before dinner. Or no, sorry, not before dinner, but around dinner. You don't want to wait till too late after dinner because then you could be running into parade time.
Right.
That's that.
Cool. Well, very good. Of course, if you've got if you're thinking, boy, I'd love to have some more information about this, or maybe I need a different kind of touring plan. Well, let's remind all of our listeners that today's sponsor is touringplans.com. And if you're looking for a plan, regardless of when you're going, what the situation is, touringplans.com has a plan for everything, really. I mean, these people, they really spend time and hours and days, not only just sitting in front of a computer and crunching data, but also in the parks testing these touring plans. These aren't just touring plans where, someone's spinning around in a chair, but, I think Pirates would be good here. This is based on hard data and their experiences in the parks. And certainly you need to go over right now to touringplans.com and check out all the great information they have over there. Take a look around. You're going to be really blown away by how much great and useful information you're going to find on that website. Just go to www.touringplans.com. Want to remind all of our listeners that our next live show is on February 27th, Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. More details at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hotchberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.